To emboss a stamped image, you will need to put your parchment onto a embossing mat, and for this particular image, the Seahorse image, we're going to use the 2mm ball tool and a 1mm ball tool. Before you start embossing, rub over the back with a tumble dryer sheet, and the conditioner from the tumble dryer sheet will make it easier for the ball tools to glide along the parchment. Now another thing you will need is a piece of kitchen paper under your hand while you're working, and this will stop any moisture or fingerprints going onto your parchment. So the little dots on the stamped image in these sections here, we're just going to emboss those with a 2mm ball tool, and little emboss circle movements. So lift and emboss, and you can do all of those first in your seahorse body. Like that. And for the more detailed lines that's connecting the dots, we're going to use the 1mm ball tool, and you very carefully emboss the lines. You don't have to press too hard, but just enough to whiten the stamped line. So you do these double lines in between the dots. And then if you turn your work, and you do the single lines in the opposite direction. So they get the idea of how to emboss the stamped lines. And I want to leave that there, and I'm going to show you the finished Seahorse in a bit. And this is the Seahorse embossed. After the emboss, we're using the 2mm and the 1mm ball tools. I've also embossed the word hello. I've also put these sections on here which I thought looked quite nice, and this is using the same daisy grid as we did the inline technique with for our border. And to use this grid, I'm going to use these sections here, these like whirly sections. So place the grid on your embossing mat, and then from the back of your work, position so you can see these fronds. I thought they looked a little bit like seaweed, sort of coming out from behind your seahorse. And using a 2mm, a 1.5mm, sorry, and press the parchment very gently through the grid. emboss seaweed around your seahorse. To make this easier, you can use the tumble dryer sheet again, and keep working over the areas to whiten. And for the very tips of the seaweed, you can just pull from the inside out to catch the edges with those little pointy bits on the end. And there's your fronds on the end there. So I've continued to add some flourishes in all different directions using the same sections just in this area here on the grid. And I've also started to add some little dotty hearts, which I'm going to use as like little bubbles, and they are from the same grid. So that's this section here, the little dotty hearts. So again, turn your work from the back, and you position the hearts, hold in place, and with a 1mm ball tool emboss the holes, and turn your work and there you can see the heart there, and you can place these anywhere within your design to look like bubbles popping up from the seahorse. And that's what they look like when they're finished. I'm going to do an inline technique here from the end of the word hello. I've traced a line using a ruler and graphite pencil, and then I'm going to use the daisy grid again, and I'm going to use the little dots that's in this section here. I'm going to pop that down, and working from the back I'm going to use a 2mm ball tool, and I'm going to sit one of the dots on the line, this dot here, and then I'm going to emboss that dot. Keep the ball tool in the hole and pivot your work so that your next dot is in line with your pencil, and emboss again. And keep doing that along the line, pivoting your work, keep your ball tool in the hole, and there you do a little line of dots after the word hello. All you need to do now is erase the pencil.